I'll just draw to your attention that that was Handel's water music, and they've been using that to keep away the inclement weather gods, and it's been working. My name is Brendan Gillen. I'm here to welcome you on behalf of McGill University to this afternoon's convocation ceremony for the Faculty of Law. Je m'appelle Brendan Gillen. Je suis ici de la part de l'Université de McGill pour vous souhaiter la bienvenue à la collation des grades pour la Faculté de Droit. So we're going to proceed in two parts here. First, I'm simply going to review the salient points of the program for people, and then the Associate Dean of Students, Glenn Zabowski, will come to go over emergency instructions with you, which will not be needed, but better safe than sorry. And then I'll have a few more words to say from the other side, and then the ceremony will start. So the ceremony is pretty straightforward. There'll be the entry of the platform party, and when they come in, I will ask you to rise and remain standing. Once they're on the platform and in their places, Dr. Tracy Smith-Bissett will sing the university anthem. People will be seated, and then the ceremony proper will start with various addresses by not only the Chancellor but also the Principal, and then the awarding of certain awards as well as the conferring of the degrees. Once that's done, Dr. Tracy Smith-Bissett will return to sing the national anthem, and the platform party will leave, at which point you'll all be standing. We ask that you remain till the platform party is left, and then the people who receive their diplomas will file out, starting from the rows closest to the stage, working backwards. So that's how we're going to proceed. So I'll now ask the the Associate Dean for students, Glenn Zabowski, to come and tell you about the procedures.
Welcome to McGill and to this year's convocation. We are so pleased that you have joined us here today. Congratulations on the success of your graduating family member or friend. You must be very proud. My name is Glenn Zabowski. I'm the Associate Dean of Students here at McGill, and my role is to tell you about our emergency evacuation procedures. The university has an emergency plan in place in the unlikely event that a situation arises, and I'll share that with you now. Si une évacuation des lieux devenant nécessaire, le registraire en fera l'annonce. Vous devrez alors quitter la tente sans tarder. Selon les circonstances, vous devrez vous rendre dans un autre bâtiment ou sur le terrain en face de la tente. If you are told to evacuate, please do the following. Leave all baby strollers behind, but let me remind you to please take your children with you. Do not go with your graduating student. They will be going elsewhere. Follow the instructions of security officers and ushers. If the evacuation is to another building, follow the colored lines on the roadway outside the tent that correspond to the color of your chair. There is an evacuation map at the back of your program that you can refer to. If you need assistance during an evacuation, please speak with an usher or a security officer. Une fois la situation d'urgence passée, les annonces seront faites aux emplacements d'évacuation pour vous indiquer la suite. L'information à ce propos sera aussi publiée sur le site mcgill.ca. En tout temps, si vous ou un membre de votre groupe requérez une assistance médicale, indiquez-le à un agent de sécurité ou à un placier. Thank you all for your attention. We're now queuing up the platform party. There's going to be just a short video first, and have a wonderful day, and once again, congratulations.
My name is Maria Gracia. I'm originally from Chile, and I did honors in Latin American Studies and International Development.
My name is Akil Varani, and I'm a visual artist and graphic designer based in Montreal. I graduated in 2012.
Je m'appelle Guillaume Drouin-Garneau, je suis ancien de McGill. J'ai gradué en 2012.
Once I graduated, I really wanted to find a way to stay connected with the university. I did some research and found the McGill Women's Alumni Association. It really spoke to me because of their mission to promote women's leadership and highlight what female grads have been contributing to the community.
Ma participation au sein du club cycliste de McGill, je pense qu'on est une super belle gang. Puis encore aujourd'hui, on voit des anciens, des jeunes qui sont étudiants, puis on fait des sorties ensemble, on partage une passion.
I got involved with the mentor-mentee program with the McGill Alumni Association. I was trying to find a way to give my time to McGill.
I definitely recommend any mentorship program, whether it's having a connection to other people or advice from someone who's been through it.
To try and figure out what you want to do is not as clear-cut as people think. It's important to be able to tell people that if you have those fears, those concerns, they're normal.
I've spoken at homecoming events, the McGill Young Alumni Association. I recently created a live artwork at the hashtag Law Needs Feminism Because National Forum.
Through McGill Connect, I was introduced to this global network of McGill alumni who I had something in common with. Once I sort of had my industry figured out, my next step was, how am I going to get abroad? Ultimately, through connecting with so many different alumni on the McGill Connect platform, I made the decision that London, England would be best for me to kickstart my career.
I want to wish the graduating class all the best of luck.
This is the beginning of a very exciting new chapter in your life, where hopefully you feel prepared and excited.
Bonne chance à tous, je vous souhaite du succès dans vos projets futurs. Je pense que vous êtes passé à travers une institution qui vous permet d'avoir accès à tout ce que vous voulez. Donc, have fun, enjoy the ride, and be patient.
So just to let you know, the platform party is gathering, and take the occasion here perhaps just to review things in French. Donc juste pour vous avertir, le cortège d'honneur va arriver. À son arrivée, je vais vous demander de vous lever. Dès que le cortège soit installé sur la tribune, la docteure Tracy Smith-Bessette va chanter l'hymne de l'université. Ensuite, il y aura la remise non seulement des prix, mais aussi, bien sûr, des diplômes. À la fin, la docteure va reprendre la tribune et chanter l'hymne national. À ce moment-là, le cortège d'honneur va quitter la salle et je demande aux étudiants, aux diplômés de se lever et de quitter, commençant avec le premier rang au fur et à mesure jusqu'au dernier rang. Donc merci beaucoup et à bientôt. So we'll be starting shortly. You can listen for the dulcet tones of the bagpiper and the drama of it slowly approaching. You may have to be meditative for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. I was told to come armed with jokes, and unfortunately, the only jokes I know are lawyer jokes, and I don't think those are the right ones to tell, so I won't. Please rise, levez-vous s'il vous plaît.
Thank you, Dr. Smith-Bassett. Good afternoon, graduating students, families, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Bonjour à tous. As Chancellor and on behalf of McGill University, it is my pleasure to welcome you today to our beautiful downtown campus to celebrate the class of 2017 and the students graduating from the Faculty of Law. Today we begin a new tradition at McGill University's convocations by opening the ceremony with a message of thanksgiving and greeting to the natural world. I invite Dewa Girakwa, Louise MacDonald Hearn, a Bear Clan mother from the Akwesasne Mohawk Territory, to the podium.
Sergazawa Guego, what Guanam Halada, G, Aguego Scana with the Wajatue, Tanawat Guanam Halada, Janigo is Wayota. Negi Wahi, Ne Yowis, Dayatin Halada, Ne Kitney Stone, Huja, Aguegana Hoda Duatsta Ganto, Yeluk Naga, Duatsanunya Dakoge, Tananegi Wahi. Tanaguadiani, Duatnigo Hayela de Canahalado, Negi Wahine, Nela Welo, Etonu, Jitgalon Yade, Nesuguaya Dizo. On this new tradition, on this grand day of sun and wind and achievement, I'd like to acknowledge the graduating class of 2017 here at McGill, and also to acknowledge this historical day and this new tradition. And if law is founded on precedent, we recognize that these lands were founded upon Indigenous people and the blood of Indigenous people. So as we move forward and we bring indigeneity to a nation that named itself with a Mohawk word, Ganada, we also acknowledge the importance in this time in history. And as I said earlier, under the maternal order of these lands, the allodial title of these lands, I believe the Chancellor is in my seat. That's a joke, okay. Okay, so in my humble authority, I now declare this day and this ceremony open, and as the rubber hits the road, may you remember the original peoples of this land and carry forward this new tradition to bring indigeneity and healing for a people that's been long forgotten in the history of this country. Nyaweha and Amama Bear.
Thank you, Mama Bear. It's wonderful to look out at this audience and see this inspiring group of graduate supporters, family, and friends. And it's an honor for me to be here to share this important milestone with you. D'abord, permettez-moi de vous transmettre à tous des félicitations bien senties. I have a keen appreciation of what this day means. Once upon a time when dinosaurs ruled the land, I too was part of a graduating class at McGill, and it was a proud moment in my life. Some considerable time later, I returned on 2 occasions as the parent of McGill graduates, one of whom graduated in law, and like all parents here today, I beamed with pride twice. And now as Chancellor, I have the privilege of attending convocation ceremonies each year, so you could say I've seen graduation from every angle. Que j'y assiste à titre de diplômé, de parent ou de chancelier. Cette cérémonie demeure pour moi une célébration du travail assidu, de la détermination, des sacrifices et d'une réussite grandement méritée. Alors bravo et chapeau bas à chacun d'entre vous. Now, although I'm not a psychic, I think I can predict some of the things that will happen to you in the very immediate future. There'll certainly be much celebration, wining and dining, and lots of photos, which will then be shared on social media. And then there will be advice, lots and lots of advice, from many sources: parents, relatives, friends, professors, you name it. So before you hear from all these people, I'd like to get my 2 cents in and offer my own advice to you. Today, for better or worse, we live in a very connected world. Thanks to social media, we can all express our opinion, voice our support, and declare our outrage, and do it all in real time, anytime. By the time I finish this sentence, 60,000 tweets will have been posted on Twitter. Hopefully not all about this speech. The fact is, we live in an immediate world. We find out about news immediately. We react to news immediately. We post our opinion immediately. Instant Twitter outrage and public shaming is now just part of our reality. So my modest advice to you is just this. I'd like you to consider the value of stepping back from that very human urge to rush to judgment, to resist the temptation to jump on the bandwagon or to jump to conclusions. I come to this perspective through my own experience, having had the privilege of serving in the Senate of Canada for more than 21 years. Je sais que cette vénérable institution ne fait pas l'unanimité. Pour ma part, et comme pour la plupart de mes collègues, j'ai assumé cette responsabilité avec beaucoup de sérieux. À mes yeux, j'avais pour rôle d'émettre une opinion modérée et réfléchie. Autrement dit, de prendre en considération le cadre législatif, le contexte et les conséquences, puis de faire une évaluation éclairée et des recommandations judicieuses. As students at McGill, you have acquired the same skills here during your time as students. When working on a paper or a project or a problem, you gather information, assess the sources, look at differing points of view, and draw conclusions based on your best judgment. This is a wonderful and elegant tool to take into the world. I urge you not to lose it and to use the principles and methods you have learned here to apply them to your everyday experience and to the society around you. Above all, I encourage you to insist on nothing less than empirical facts and data as a basis for your opinions. In some cases, this process will confirm your views. In some cases, it may cause you to even change your opinion, or even prompt you to engage in a constructive dialogue. This is not just a sign of intelligence. In our society today, it is a sign of integrity and of courage. The world needs more of that. It needs more, much more, thoughtful discourse, more room for diverse voices, more tolerance and understanding, more kind words, and less rancor. So let me close today with a quote which summarizes my thoughts. It comes from one of our fellow McGill graduates and someone who touched the lives of many around the world, Leonard Cohen. Leonard Cohen left a wonderful legacy of songs and poems and verse, and I think this quote is particularly appropriate for today. He said, "To keep your hearts open is probably the most urgent responsibility you have as you get older." And I can certainly vouch for that. Do keep your hearts open. Be generous of spirit, quick to comfort those in need, and measured and considerate in your words and deeds. And remember to keep your hearts open to your friends and supporters here at McGill as well. Because wherever you go in the world, this will always be your home, and we'll always cheer for you and for your successes and accomplishments. So stay in touch, not just today, but throughout your lifelong journey as a McGill grad. Good luck, and may this day be both a joyous ending and an auspicious beginning for all of you. Merci. Thank you. Je voudrais maintenant inviter la professeure Suzanne Fortier, principale et vice-chancelière de l'Université McGill, à s'adresser à l'auditoire. Madame Fortier.
Bienvenue aux finissants de 2017. Welcome to the graduating class of 2017. I am joined here today by your families and friends, by our Chancellors Emeriti, the Chair of the Board, our Governors and Governors Emeriti, by our distinguished honorary degree recipient, award recipients, by special guests and esteemed colleagues. We are here together to express how proud we are of you and of everything that has brought you here today. C'est pour nous un immense bonheur de vous féliciter pour vos réalisations et votre persévérance. You have worked hard on your journey to being here today. And today marks an important milestone. Savor it, enjoy it, celebrate it, and remember it. And remember as well the friends you've made during your time here at McGill. Keep them close. Convocation is a celebration, and of course there are many of us who are here to celebrate with you, your families, your friends, professors, librarians, staff. They've been cheering for you from day one, so today I want you, the graduating class, to stand up and give a big round of applause for all those people who have been there for you and helping you to your journey. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. You know, these people will never stop cheering for you, and they'll be there for you, whatever you choose to do next. And we know that there are great things that you will do next because you have a mind of your own, and you have a mind that knows how to learn. You will use it to do great things. Over the past years, as I've watched you in action, I've been calling you names. I've called you the startup generation. I've called you the walk the talk generation. I've called you the broadband generation because unlike any generations before you, you're ready for action. You're ready to make an impact on the world. Your thoughts and your ideas are spreading at an incredible speed across the planet. You have influence and perhaps far more power than you realize. You're part of a new revolution, which is transforming the way we live, work, and relate to one another. Take hold of the changes that are happening and make it your goal to see them benefit everyone across the world. Build the future of our country and our world as inclusive places. This may sound daunting, but of course, this is not on your shoulders alone. You will turn to others seeking purpose, sharing and questioning ideas, and discovering new opportunities. You already know what it means to work as a team, and I've seen impressive examples of great teamwork on our campuses when I watch what our students are doing. And I want to share just one example with you of great teamwork. This past February, I attended a women's hockey game between our McGill Martlets and the Carleton Ravens. Now, we were feeling pretty good because our Martlets were leading 6-4 with 35 seconds left in the game. So, of course, the Ravens pulled their goalie out of the net. And the Martlets team captain found herself alone with the puck in front of the net. And she did not shoot. What she did instead is pass the puck to her teammate. Her teammate had already 2 goals in the game. So by passing the puck to her and letting her do the goal, she gave her a hat trick and first star in the game. And all of us who were at that game that moment said, wow, what a great example of true team spirit, putting the team first. Now, while we're on the topic of great team spirit, I want to recognize the outstanding contribution of Stuart Kip Cobbett, the chair of McGill's Board of Governors, who will be completing his term at the end of June. Kip has been an exceptional member of Team McGill, serving our university in so many ways, from president of the McGill Alumni Association to valued member of numerous governance committees. Now, of course, you may know that he graduated 2 degrees from McGill, a BA, but also a degree in law, and has in fact taught in our Faculty of Law. Kip is what we call an MVP: loyal, present, generous with his time and good advice, and always ready to do his part. So thank you, Kip. Un grand merci, Kip, for your loyalty, friendship, and exemplary service to the university. Thank you also to Kathleen Massey, who will be leaving McGill after nearly 10 years as the university's registrar and executive director of enrollment services. We are grateful to Kathleen for her unwavering commitment to McGill students and the university community. Kathleen, you're a model for us all of an effective and caring leader, always willing to challenge the status quo for the betterment of McGill. And finally, thank you to all of you, the 2017 graduates. You've made great contributions to our university during your time here. Et nous savons que vous allez continuer à faire rayonner notre université à l'échelle mondiale. Vous faites partie d'une belle et grande famille et j'espère que vous considérez toujours McGill comme votre maison et revenez nous voir le plus souvent possible. We all look forward to hearing about your lives, your successes, and about all the places your education will take you. Félicitations, congratulations.
Merci, Madame la Principale. Maître Daniel Boyer will present this year's winner of the John W. Durnford Teaching Excellence Award in the Faculty of Law. Maître Boyer.
Madame Vice Chancellor, I have the honor and pleasure of presenting to you Professor Helena Lamet, this year's recipient Professor Lamet was herself a student of Professor Durnford, and she admired both his enthusiasm for Canadian taxation law and his outstanding pedagogical abilities. I am certain that she is immensely touched to receive an award that bears the name of a predecessor who she deeply respects and had a great influence on her. Like previous generations of law students and all others privileged to be associated with Professor Lamet, I can attest that she combines a razor mind with a rapier wit. Un esprit qui reflète un grand savoir qu'elle a partagé avec nos étudiantes et étudiants tout au long de leur séjour à la faculté. She dispensed the discipline of rigorous legal analysis less as a duty than as a labor of love. She reviewed with care and attention each and every paper written by her students. Those essays were graded with compassion and empathy, and this was immensely appreciated. Professor Lamet measurably improved the writing quality of our students, thereby enabling them to express themselves with clarity, conviction, and concision. Her teaching and instilling of legal ethics is grounded dans de profondes assises morales honed and developed by her effective practice at the bar, particularly in the field of litigation. In recognition of her distinction, the law students have organized several unique tributes to Professor Lamet, and today invite us to celebrate the wisdom, insight, and career of a person who is equally an honor to the bar, as she is a very distinguished law professor.
Thank you, Maître Boyer, and congratulations, Professor Lamet. Je demanderai maintenant au professeur Robert Leckie, doyen de la faculté de droit, de présenter le professeur Stephen Toop afin qu'il puisse recevoir la reconnaissance la plus élevée qu'il est dans le pouvoir de cette université d'accorder. Professeur Leckie.
Monsieur le chancelier, je vous présente le professeur Stephen Toop. Sa feuille de route est très longue. Diplômé de Harvard, de McGill et de Cambridge, rédacteur en chef du 28e volume de la Revue de droit de McGill, ancien clerc du juge en chef de la Cour suprême du Canada, professeur de droit et ensuite doyen de cette faculté, président fondateur de la Fondation Pierre Elliott Trudeau, président de l'University of British Columbia, directeur de la Munk School of Global Affairs à l'University of Toronto, vice-chancelier de Cambridge University dès cet automne. Il sera par ailleurs la première personne n'ayant pas la citoyenneté britannique à assumer ces fonctions. D'ailleurs, il occupera ce poste pendant les négociations du Brexit, un moment crucial pour cette université de renommée. Tout au long de son parcours, Stephen Toop s'est consacré au service du public à l'extérieur du cadre de ses fonctions ordinaires. Il a notamment agi à titre d'enquêteur pour les commissions d'enquête relativement à Maher Arar en 2005. Malgré ses charges administratives, Stephen Toop a poursuivi une brillante carrière de chercheur. Son livre coécrit avec le professeur Jutta Brunei, Legitimacy and Legality in International Law, publié par Cambridge University Press en 2010, lui a valu un Certificate of Merit for Creative Scholarship de l'American Society of International Law. Bien entendu, nous ne sommes pas les premiers à lui décerner des honneurs. Il a reçu, entre autres, la médaille du Jubilé d'or de la Reine Élisabeth en 2012 et il est officier de l'Ordre du Canada depuis 2015. Now, holding positions of leadership is not the same as achieving worthwhile objectives. I would highlight that in the late 1990s, Stephen led our faculty to adopt the Integrated or Trans-Systemic Program. While the program has garnered praise nationally and internationally, it was a daring, controversial move at the time, one that carved out a new place for McGill on the global map of legal education. Before closing, a couple of more personal things. First, despite his succession of demanding jobs away from McGill and Montreal, Stephen has never forgotten his friends and colleagues here. He has maintained close ties of friendship, and I've seen him, or him and Paula, at occasions of celebration for his friends and former colleagues, or for their children, as on occasions of sorrow. Second, my connections with Stephen give me special pleasure in welcoming him to this, my first convocation ceremony as Dean. Stephen was Dean when I began as a law student here in 1998. He greeted my parents at my graduation in 2002, and he welcomed me into the community of the Trudeau Foundation when I received a doctoral scholarship. I've sought and gratefully taken his wise, generous advice on many occasions, as editor-in-chief of the McGill Law Journal, as assistant professor, and more recently as dean. Mr. Chancellor, I present to you Stephen Toop so that you may confer on him a doctorate of laws honoris causa.
Thank you, Dean Leckie. I now invite Dr. Stephen Toop to deliver the convocation address. Dr. Toop.
Chancelier Meehan, principal et vice-chancelière Fortier, Monsieur Corbett, président du Conseil, doyen Leckie, chers parents et invités, et surtout, chers finissants de la promotion 2017. As the proud bearer of 2 degrees from this great university, a third might seem superfluous, but nothing could be further from the truth. I am deeply touched. Thank you to the Senate for this great honor, and congratulations to each and every one of you graduates. I'm proud to join your class. La faculté de droit de l'Université McGill a changé le cours de ma vie. Dès mon arrivée en 1979, oui, c'était il y a longtemps, je savais que je voulais devenir une diplomate. Mais durant ce parcours d'études en droit international avec Ivan Vlasic, exigeant et brillant professeur, le concours de plaidoirie Jessup et la revue de droit de McGill, et après avoir tant appris d'enseignants qui plus tard sont devenus des amis, comme Patrick Glenn et Rod MacDonald, une carrière en enseignant de droit international s'est avérée une meilleure option. I discovered, or at least reaffirmed, that whatever we do, it results from the influences of many people. Not only are we not self-made, we are, if lucky, dependent. Dependent upon people we admire and love. Let me pause here to say that I could not have achieved any of the things listed in that overly generous citation without the supportive launching that my parents gave me, that my parents-in-law have continued to provide even in adulthood, and especially without the incredible help and engagement of my funny, kind, and oh so patient wife, Paula. Thank you. Thanks as well to my ever-questioning son and daughters who keep me humble by laughing at me a lot. I read a sad, almost unbelievable story in the New Yorker a few weeks ago about Swedish refugee claimants. Apparently in Sweden, and it seems only in Sweden, some child refugees who fear that they and their families are about to be deported fall into an unconscious state. They become listless and then they completely shut down, requiring tube feeding. They do not respond to stimuli. There's an official psychiatric name for this state, resignation syndrome. The state lasts until a review of the case is held, the children's condition becomes a factor in the refugee determination, and the decision to expel is reversed. It can take a long time before the children somehow realize that their fears are no longer justified and they slowly come back to life. Psychologists have no clear explanation beyond the idea that the children are anxious, confused about where they belong, and hopeless. Hundreds of children have experienced this syndrome since the early 2000s. Now, I suppose in a disturbing way, this story tells us that fear and hopelessness can produce desired effects. These kids gain refugee status. But I suspect that your years studying law suggest that this is not the best response. One would hope that the Swedish refugee system could be improved to avoid such cases, and that these kids would be helped to find better ways to express their needs, that resilience would be fostered, not hopelessness. Now, 3 or 4 years of law studies at McGill must have bolstered your resilience. The struggle to be admitted, then classes in the first semester where everything was confusing and words seemed to have no clear meanings, sweat-inducing moots, all those classmates who seemed better prepared, harder working, and smarter, and those endless bloody exams on computers that freeze. But I think that your resilience goes deeper than mere toughness, deeper than you may yet have realized. Although it is frustrating at times, it is the very uncertainty of a legal education, especially a McGill legal education, that will allow you to thrive in a worrying era. Some of you may know the parable of Joseph Anton. Joseph Anton was the name the brilliant novelist Salman Rushdie used for 11 years as he hid from the death decree imposed upon him by the Ayatollah Khomeini. Rushdie made up the name at the request of the British security services protecting him. He simply combined the first names of his two favorite writers, Joseph Conrad and Anton Chekhov. Salman Rushdie, Joseph Anton. Are they the same person? Not quite, for the fake name was chosen in part to disguise Rushdie's identity as an Anglo-Indian of Muslim heritage. Although unjustly forced upon him, the choice that Rushdie made to call himself Joseph Anton seems to me the perfect metaphor for the complexity that we all face in a world where old certainties are constantly challenged and even who we are cannot be answered simply or singularly. Rushdie himself describes his life's work as an attempt to address, quotes, the great question of how the world joins up. I couldn't think of a better question to ask yourselves on this day of graduation. How does the world join up? How is multiplicity made coherent? At McGill's law faculty, that question is at the heart of everything you have done. Do the common law and the civil law join up? How about Indigenous law, property law, and human rights law? How do classmates from such diverse backgrounds ever join up? But they do. Pour répondre à ces questions, vous vous servez de ce que vous avez appris dans votre famille, auprès de vos amis, de vos professeurs, lors de vos travaux scolaires personnels, de vos explorations de l'éthique et de la foi, de la clinique juridique, de la revue de droit et du bénévolat communautaire. Autrement dit, pour au moins commencer à répondre à la question sur la manière dont le monde se rassemble, vous devez essayer d'intégrer toutes vos connaissances à la personne que vous êtes. But, and here's the irony, the integration of all those ways of knowing probably won't make you a unitary you. Bringing all that you've learned together will most likely reinforce a sense that your own identity is multiple. Son or daughter, Québécois ou Canadien, sister, brother, allophone, Iranian, Chinese, pragmatist, idealist, Afro-Canadian, Inuit, gay, straight, bi, trans, or a deeply frustrated Habs fan. Because of its very uncertainty, its constant struggle to carve out a unique sense and space in legal education, I don't think there's a better place on earth to explore those questions, to figure out how the world joins up, than the McGill Law faculty. I hope that as you contemplate your experience here on this exciting day, that you've been able to work through all those multiple ways of knowing and being, not to find singularity, but to embrace complexity, even within yourself. I hope that you've learned that you're most able to know when most open to doubt. Consider the admonition of Amit Mujumdar, a young American novelist and poet. This poem is called To the Hyphenated Poets. Richer than mother's milk is half and half. Friends of two minds, redouble your craft. Oneness, pure chimera. Splendor is spliced. Make your halves into something twice your size, your tongue a hyphen joining nation to nation. Recombine, become a thing of your own creation. A many-minded mongrel, the line's renewal, self-made and twofold, soul and dual. I trust that none of you will ever have to live like those refugee kids in Sweden or like Joseph Anton. But as a graduate of this most multiple of law faculties, I hope that all of you will revel in the challenge to figure out how the world joins up. Delight in your own complexity and that of our world, because splendor is spliced. Merci et bonne chance.
Thank you, Dr. Toop, for that very eloquent and thought-provoking set of remarks. We send you on our way with this third degree from McGill to Cambridge with our best wishes, knowing that you are truly McGill's triple threat. Nous allons maintenant procéder à l'attribution des grades académiques. The Provost and Vice Principal, Academic Professor Christopher Manfredi, will begin the formal proceedings. Professor Manfredi.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. I am pleased to invite the students graduating from the Faculty of Law for the conferral of degrees. This is a truly joyous event in the cycle of any university's life, and particularly so at McGill, where we have such talented and accomplished students. Each student crossing the stage this afternoon will be greeted by the Chancellor, the Principal, or the Chair of the Board of Governors. Students receiving their first degree shall remove their mortarboard or hat. At center stage, they will be symbolically capped, signaling ceremonially the conferral of the degree. Students who have already earned a university degree keep their mortarboard on and will be congratulated by a tap on the shoulder. The parchment or degree itself is given to students by the dean or delegate after they leave the stage and have a photo taken. You may see some students wearing red or white scarves. All self-identifying Indigenous students, First Nations, Inuit, and Métis, are entitled to wear graduation scarves at convocation, in the community, and at any and all future McGill events that they attend. The red scarf is for those receiving a degree, and white for those getting a diploma or certificate. The feather has two meanings: respect for the person and the mark of an amazing or special event. The Confederacy belt signifies attachment to and respect for the land on which we live, and the turtle symbolizes the inclusiveness of all nations and respect for diversity. It is fitting that we recognize our Indigenous graduates in this way, just as we recognize that McGill University is on land which long served as a site of meeting and exchange amongst Indigenous peoples, including the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe nations. We acknowledge and thank the diverse Indigenous people whose footsteps have marked this territory on which peoples of the world now gather. En vertu des pouvoirs qui me sont conférés par le Sénat de McGill, je déclare que les candidats dont le nom figure sur la liste officielle des diplômés de l'université, qu'ils soient présents ou absents, ont satisfait aux exigences de leur grade, diplôme ou certificat respectif. By virtue of the powers conferred upon me by McGill Senate, I declare that the candidates whose names appear on the university's official list of graduates, whether they be present or absent, have satisfied the requirements for the respective degrees, diplomas, or certificates. By tradition at McGill, we begin with students receiving graduate degrees, followed by students obtaining undergraduate degrees. I now invite Professor Rosalie Jukier to introduce the graduates and Professor Robert Leckie, Dean of the Faculty of Law, to congratulate all graduating students. Congratulations, class of 2017. Félicitations.
It is my great pleasure to read the names of the students in this year's graduating class. Please note that prizes, scholarships, and honors earned by individual students are listed in your programs. Mr. Chancellor, for the degree of Doctor of Civil Law in Air and Space Law, Andrea Jean Harrington. Isabella Maria Vassila Georgi. And for the degree of Doctor of Civil Law in Law, Kuzi Vakwashe Joseph Charamba. Dia Dabi. Catherine Glover. And for the degree of Master of Laws in Air and Space Law, Hiseolua Christopher Akintunde. Irina Volodomirova. Marilyn Coupienne. Sarah Marinier-Doucet. Anaël Aram Chulfian. Mr. Chancellor, for the degrees of Bachelor of Civil Law and Bachelor of Laws, Stephen Christopher Albers. Sumia Alalou. Sarah Andrade. Melina Antoniadis. Ilias Areda. Ian Atama. Rachelle Faye-Anne Bastarache. Olivier Beaubien. Maria Bichakian. Geneviève Bibe. Michel Bélanger-Roy. Dominic Dwayne Bell. Talia Bensoussan. Charlotte Bernèche. Justine Allison Blair. Stephanie Amanda Blakely. Michael Blashko. Frédéric Bossé. Claire Kane Boychuk. Carla Beth Braden. Olivier Busque. Stephanie Cardarelli. Adam Mark Carlin. Simone Renee Kavanaugh. Mary Louise Chabot, Amy Jeffrion Medal. Ao Chen. Kai Cheng. Matthew John Chung. Margarita Mariana China. Christine Ann Emily Cooper. Amelia Couture. Marie-Alice Daou. Jason Russell Davidson. Sarah DeRose. Jessica DeSanti. Chantal Laura de Serville. Julia Alexandra Karen Deutsch. Fahad Diwan. Carla Marie Dombowski. Nicole Dawn Dunbar. Janelle Rebecca Dundas. Alyssa Edwards. Serena El Asmar. Gregory James Elder. Sarah Espinel Henao. Anique Janet Floman. Ri Zhe Gao. Moses Gashirabaki. Jason Peter Gauthier. Lex Gill. Anna Dorothy Harris Gilmer. Michael Glash. Julia Ashley Godolphin. Mara Elise Goodman. Raymond Alexander Kovnats Grafton. Catherine Louisiana Hansen. Fraser Abram McLeod Harland, Elizabeth Torrance Gold Medal. Eric Hendry. Thomas Howells. Emily Grace Hutchison. Vincent Iacono. Renz Grosp. Xiu Di Guo. Stéphanie Deborah Jules. Nadia Kadri. Gloria Ha Young Kim. Talia Kornitzer. Andrew Elbert Krulides. Laurent Laca. Marielle Kaylee Margaret Lachapelle. William Lacombe. Michelle Leahy. Miriam Lamidi. Christian Francis Joseph Laliberté. Aurélie Lanctot. Marie-Mariam Lefebvre Delancourt. Julie Lesage. Jeff Lee. Max Samuel Libman. Lindsay Little. Ginny Liu. Emma Loignon Giroux. Alexander Louis. Agostino Lucarelli. Daniel Mark Luxembourg. Amber Lillian Lynch. Laura Lee McLean. Dana Rowena Martin. Jordan Shane Martin. Elisa McCarran. David McLeod. Carly Meredith. Benedict Mitchell. Jonathan Dorney Mooney. Kirsten Mary Morey. Elizabeth Ann Mountford. Fortuna Nadima Nadima. Brody Michael White, Noga Amy Geoffrion Medal. Kai Stefan Olsen. Michel Osvath Langlais. Anne-Sophie Willette, Principal David L. Johnston Medal. Keisha Ann Pillay. Joseph Fabian Posel. Sam Pusht Mashad. Dina Prokic. Sandrine Rakepa. Étienne Ravillet Guzman. Chad Edward Reagan. Daniel Terrence Richer. Maria Rodriguez. Amanda Elizabeth Santace. Kevin Anthony John Sawyer. Jacob Michael Schweda. David Theodore Cyril. Shai Shalev. Emma Gabrielle Sinai. Diana Sitoyanu. Stacy Marie Smido. Maya Marie Sorin. Aman Preet Sran. Larissa Sawatsky Swinarchuk. Pierre-François Tétrault. Kim Tontat. Thomas Tucci. Andrea Tredenick. Gabrielle Tremblay. Gabriela Beatriz Utreras Sandoval. Pierre-Olivier Valiquette. Marilyn Venny. Sydney Rose Warshaw. Lucia Westin. Hamad Tamen Ali Yousufzai. Suzanne Zakour. And Max Philip Seidel.
Thank you, Professor Jukier. I now invite Ms. Justine Blair, this year's valedictorian, to say a few words. Ms. Blair.
Is this on? Yes, okay. No, it's not. It's not. It's not? Oh, that's good. There we are. Okay. Monsieur le chancelier, membre du cortège d'honneur, invité, ma grand-maman, et bien sûr, chers diplômés du programme BCL LLB de la Faculté de droit de McGill. Bonjour! J'aimerais saluer la présence de Maître Lamed, qui en quelque sorte partage notre cérémonie de graduation aujourd'hui. C'est un plaisir de vous avoir avec nous. Bon, pour celles et ceux qui ne le savaient pas, je m'appelle Justine Blair et puis vous m'avez élu comme votre valedictorian aujourd'hui. Ça me fait plaisir d'être là. So shortly after I was elected valedictorian, I decided it was a good time to look up what the role of valedictorian actually entailed. Luckily, McGill quickly gave the following instructions in an email. I must address the convocation on behalf of all graduating students. All, in red, bold caps. All students. Ça tombe justement bien puisque vous formez un groupe très uniforme, sans aucune divergence d'esprit, d'opinion, de pensée. Je n'aurai donc aucun problème à trouver un thème qui nous réunira tous et toutes. If only. Indeed, your interests in feminist-themed cross-stitching, in hidden judicial poetry, in subversive political fashion commentary may be interesting, but they are not exactly the uniting forces I was hoping for. Mais, malgré l'impossible tâche qu'on attendait de moi, j'ai tout de même réussi à trouver exactement deux choses que nous partageons tous et toutes. Tout d'abord, nous avons tous et toutes écrit un personal statement dans notre application pour être acceptés à la faculté de droit, ne l'oublions pas. Et nous avons tous et toutes, depuis quelques minutes, le même diplôme que nous tenons tous entre nos mains, en tout cas, pour ceux qui ne tiennent pas un téléphone. Now, these two items likely represent two very different versions of ourselves. The first, unabashedly optimistic, bordering on naive, announcing our grandiose plans to change the world one CCQ article at a time. The second, a solemn, albeit anticlimactic representation of the years of hard work that are now behind us. Et entre ces deux documents, plusieurs choses se sont passées. De longues nuits à Nahum, ponctuées de cris d'Eureka ou de grondements de désespoir, des encouragements à n'en plus finir, des jokes sur le brand tub à Glen, des clickers pitonnés agressivement, des raps sur le soude de Provo, des milliers de notes partagées, de résumés distribués, d'épaules réconfortantes offertes et d'innombrables débats Facebook inutiles. Mais très divertissants. With all that we have lived through in these past 4 or for some 3 years, it is easy to condescendingly chuckle at our past personal statement selves. Gosh, did we have no idea? So silly we were, so innocent. We are so much more mature now, and we have these papers to prove it. We know what promissory estoppel is. Just kidding, I really don't. Mais aujourd'hui, ce que je nous souhaite, c'est de ne pas trop oublier la naïveté de notre personal statement et les grands projets qu'ils annonçaient, aussi irréalistes soient-ils. Peut-être bien qu'on ne changera pas le monde un article du CCQ à la fois, mais il faut bien qu'il y en ait qui essayent. So I invite all of us to let the borderline, annoyingly optimistic past self shine through our enlightened, law diploma-holding self in the endeavors that we embark on. It has been an honor to witness the courage, the intelligence, and the fierceness of my graduating class. You will always remain the people beside which I will feel perpetually unqualified. I so look forward to hearing about the great things you will achieve and overachieve. Merci, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Blair. Vous ferez un très bon plat d'art. Professor Robert Leckie will now address the graduating class.
Vous êtes arrivés. Soulagement, sourire, fierté, félicitations. Merci de partager cette occasion joyeuse et marquante avec vos profs et le personnel administratif de la faculté de droit de l'Université McGill. Aujourd'hui, vous devenez membre d'un réseau international de diplômés de notre faculté. Vous quittez la maison, donc, et pas la famille. Vous côtoierez vos camarades à travers les activités de vos vies professionnelles, et là, on se retrouvera aux événements organisés pour vous, que ce soit à Montréal, Ottawa, Toronto, New York, Boston, Londres, Paris ou Hong Kong. Vous assisterez aux réunions organisées par le Young Alumni Board. Certains parmi vous resteront en contact avec moi sur Twitter. Vous parviendrez, avec plus ou moins de difficultés, à me tutoyer. Comme étudiants et étudiantes, vous avez profité de la générosité des cohortes précédentes. J'espère que vous en ferez de même, que ce soit comme bénévole ou donateur. Before you leave campus this afternoon, we'll have a chance to celebrate your achievements together in the faculty club, thanks to the generous sponsorship of the class of 1967, members of which are here with us on stage. Please show yourselves. I hope that many of you in the class of 2017 will be here in good health to celebrate the McGill Law class of 2067. 2067. Today's an intense day for many of us. Your professors feel a heady brew of emotions as we see our students from the double degree program and our supervised master's and doctoral students cross the stage, wearing sneakers vertiginously high heels, and everything in between. We rejoice in your accomplishments, and we're grateful for what we've learned from you inside and outside the classroom. We may feel a bit of sadness, because despite what I said about the McGill Law community maintaining ties around the planet, we will miss you. I feel special closeness to your class. You're the first to cross this stage during my deanship. Many of you began your legal education with my first class in French, Droit Constitutionnel, in 2013-14. Others took Droit de la Famille for its maiden voyage en français, and God help you, some of you were with me for both. Merci de votre patience, de votre tolérance, et de votre bonne humeur à mon égard. And I shall never forget the outpouring of support I received from many of you when my father passed away in 2015. Maintenant, un mot pour votre entourage. Merci d'avoir appuyé et encouragé l'étudiant ou l'étudiante en droit dans votre vie pendant ses études. Par ailleurs, merci d'avoir toléré, plus ou moins, son excès d'enthousiasme lors de sa découverte de cette nouvelle discipline, y compris au début, lorsqu'il ou elle se mettait à voir le droit partout, tout le temps. At my graduation, the little group gathered for me consisted of my parents, my then boyfriend, and my grandparents in their late 80s. Like my grandparents, many of you have made major efforts to be here. My grandparents sat behind my mom and dad and Jose, and we learned only afterwards that Granddad had nodded off, missing the moment when Professor Jukier called my name and I crossed the stage. He was devastated. I hope those of you here to support someone, a graduating student, were fully awake to soak in a moment towards which you have been contributing in many ways for so long. Finissant et finissante, vous avez étudié, appris et vécu le droit d'une manière unique au monde, le trait distinctif de cette grande faculté. Vous en sortez habilité à penser le droit différemment que les diplômés d'ailleurs, votre imagination ayant été stimulée par la sagesse de plus d'une tradition juridique à la fois. Vous poursuivez le droit de façon non dogmatique. Mes entretiens avec nos diplômés, ainsi que les employeurs, me le confirment, votre formation chez nous vous transmet une agilité précieuse et une sensibilité à la différence. Et c'est là que vous meniez votre carrière à l'échelle internationale ou au service d'une communauté locale, à Kamloops ou à Rimouski. During your time high up on Peel Street, you did a breathtaking range of things, showcasing an amazing variety of passions, skills, and talents. You ran student-initiated seminars on subjects crucial to you. You performed at Skit Night and Actus Reus. You organized countless events, run the LSA, the GLSA, pleaded in competitive moots, and published scholarly journals, Contours, and the Quid Novi. You participated in protests, cycled in the Christie bike ride, and offered legal information, including at Trudeau Airport after the Trump travel ban. You've worked for the Human Rights Working Group, for NGOs here and overseas, for law firms, for governments, for judges. You've engaged in activism and community outreach through participation and leadership in the Indigenous Law Association, the Black Law Students Association, the Christian Law Students Association, the Jewish Law Students Association, Law Needs Feminism, Outlaw, the Women of Color Collective, the McGill Business Law Association, the Law Students Yoga Club, the Student Association for Linguistic Rights, and RAD Law. You have worked for the wrongfully convicted, gone into local high schools through our LEX program, and helped transgender people get proper identity papers. Many of you handled paid work and family caregiving, including dealing with serious illness. Some of you breastfed in the faculty. Some of you rarely missed a coffee house, and others sought out quiet places to recharge. A number of you blogged and published op-eds. And I understand, and Justine hinted at this, that you occasionally tested the boundaries of civility on Facebook, experiencing for yourselves that the exercise of free speech does have implications for community dynamics. Tout comme vous, votre faculté de droit évolue constamment. Vous nous avez accompagnés pendant les rénovations de Old Chancery Hall, et vous avez enduré la construction qui paralyse le campus de McGill et la présence des policiers à chaque coin de rue. Les travaux en cours cet été transformeront le rez-de-chaussée de New Chancery Hall. Je vous assure que nous avons pris à cœur vos commentaires concernant notre programme, un programme dont nous sommes fiers, mais que nous améliorons toujours. Nous vous avons entendu concernant la santé mentale, l'impératif d'augmenter la présence des personnes autochtones et racialisées aux corps étudiants et professoral. Vous nous avez aussi rappelé que l'accès à la vie de la faculté, tant physique que sociale, à moins universelle qu'il ne doit l'être. In short, looking ahead, we're recruiting an advisor for our Indigenous students and others from historically underrepresented groups. In September, a new professor, Omar Farahat, will bring us expertise in Islamic law. We'll soon welcome Indigenous scholar John Borrows from the University of Victoria for a year-long visit. And just hours ago, we shared the superb news that the next assistant professor to join us will be Aaron Mills, a Bear Clan Anishinaabe from Couchiching First Nation. Aaron's a superstar, and Aaron will lead us to understand Indigenous constitutionalism better and Canadian settler constitutionalism too. Our profession is changing rapidly. Fewer of you will stay in a law firm for decades than did your predecessors, including perhaps some of the graduates on stage in the back row. Now, some will tell you there's an excess of lawyers, and yet our society suffers a crisis of access to justice. I believe the severe challenges facing our globalized, interconnected world are ones towards which legally trained, engaged, imaginative citizens such as yourselves have much to contribute. When I was in high school, a speaker told us that every successful person knew by age 16 what he or she would become. Now, this was very bad news for me, as I hadn't a clue. And if it were true, it would be bad news for the many of you who have no idea where your professional lives will take you. Realistically, many of you will hold jobs that simply do not yet exist. But what you do know already, I suspect, are your fundamental values, your sense of how to advance your conception of justice, and which activities have given you the keenest sense of being in your sweet spot. Listen attentively to all of that now and in the years to come, and reevaluate from time to time. Now, the legal profession holds great promise, but speaking frankly to you, it is also a profession beset by high levels of stress, family breakdown, and substance abuse. I'm sorry, but it's true. Take time to care for yourselves and your loved ones. You won't be able to care for the world unless you do. My colleagues and I wish you success in all your endeavors. I also wish, though, that when you fail, and you will, as we all do, that you will say sorry when appropriate, and that in any event you won't stay down for long. And when you pick yourself up, may you draw the lessons waiting for you, and may the bruises heal swiftly. Bravo à tous et à toutes. Gardez le contact et revenez nous voir fréquemment. Nous sommes tellement fiers de vous.
Thank you, Professor Lackey. Je demande à tous les diplômés de se lever. Encore une fois. À titre de chancelier de l'Université McGill, je déclare et confirme que chacun de vous a maintenant le droit à la distinction de grade, diplôme ou certificat qui vous a été conféré, avec tous les honneurs, droits, privilèges et responsabilités qui y sont pertinents. Félicitations. Well done, everybody. The Secretary General, Ms. Edita Rogovska, will deliver some closing remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Dear graduates of 2017, your graduation year also marks an important anniversary for both Montreal and Canada. In recognition of Canadians whose contributions have made an impact, I'd like to close today's ceremony with a few words from an accomplished Canadian. In fact, the first woman appointed the Ontario Court of Appeal and the first woman justice of the Supreme Court of Canada, Justice Bertha Wilson. After being appointed to the Supreme Court of Canada in 1982, Justice Wilson said the following: "Let's open our profession to all Canadians who share a sense of vocation to the law, no matter their sex, color, ethnicity, religious, or sexual preference. Bertha Wilson worked tirelessly to give courage to many to challenge the system in hopes of building a more inclusive, equal, representative Canadian society. As you leave McGill to pursue a variety of different careers, I hope you will seek opportunities to make a positive change for you and for those who will come after you. En vous souhaitant le meilleur des succès, je vous dis bonne chance et bonne continuation. Félicitations.
Merci, Madame Rogowska. To conclude the ceremony, please stand as Dr. Tracy Smith-Bassett leads us in the singing of our national anthem.